Hello, everyone. My name is Elena Sinel. I am the founder of Teens in AI, and it's amazing to have you all join us for the local ambassador information session. And what will come today is just some general information about the IWD Global Techathon. Towards the end of the session, we will answer any questions you may have. So to introduce you to Teens in AI, very briefly, I wanted to tell you my story and how I started Teens in AI. So as a founder of Teens in AI, obviously, some of you who will be joining us again this year may have heard this story before. It all started for me about 10 years ago when my daughter was about 12 and she was going to school here in London. I stumbled upon a conversation between her and her teacher, and unfortunately, her teacher told her that computer science was not for girls, it was for boys, and she was trying to encourage my daughter to pick a different subject like sociology or psychology. To which I had a response that not every parent might have, but for me as a parent, it was important that my daughter was given correct information. And so I decided it was upon me as her mom to introduce her to the world of tech and share with her some of the most exciting things that are happening in tech. And as I was trying to inspire my own daughter, and right now she's at IBM and she's in a machine learning and AI team, her journey was also not direct into AI. Of course, we had ups and downs, and it took me a while to convince her that this is the right area to focus in. As I was doing this, I managed to also get a lot of other daughters of my friends and colleagues inspired. We're super happy to let you know that we've got more than 15,000 young people across the world in more than 60 countries who are also learning about AI from a social impact angle. How can we use this technology for impact? And of course, how can we mitigate some of the risks that come with technologies and systems like AI? So back in 2014, we were not really called Teens in AI. We were called Acorn Aspirations because I felt like from seeds of acorn come big oaks and big trees. So that was the inspiration behind that name. And then in 2018, I got invited to speak about our ambition to teach AI skills to young people all over the world. We launched Teens in AI as a movement at AI for Good Summit in Geneva. So that's kind of where the journey of Teens in AI starts. And like I mentioned, we have a lot of teenagers in many parts of the world, in parts of Africa, in parts of Asia, Europe, who are learning with us on a daily basis. Now that we have not only campaigns that we run, but we also have online courses. It's really exciting to see how kids are interacting with some of the modern concepts and frameworks. And so we are, of course, a very big network of volunteers all around the world who are very dedicated to this cause. Some of you are online, and many of you are connected with me on LinkedIn, and everyone is very much on the same mission to inspire as many young people as we possibly can into the world of AI and AI for impact. I probably won't be sharing this just yet, but the deck will be shared with you after the call. I hope you will enjoy the trailer, which will give you an insight as to what happened last year. We had a very, very exciting campaign, which took place in 26 locations around the world. So hopefully this year's campaign will be even bigger with your support and dedication. Now, the passion at Teens in AI, of course, and the vision we have is to use technology to create a fair world where everyone has opportunity to maximize their potential. And with this, we feel the best time to introduce students to the world of tech and AI is ages 12 to 18. And of course, if we do this from a really early age, particularly 12, 13, 14, then there is definitely more likelihood that students will enjoy technology and computer science. Where I'm sitting in England, we have very low uptake of girls choosing subjects like computer science or STEM subjects. I think the statistic is 1 in 4 pursue computer science here in the UK. So it's a reality. We're trying to change here in the UK. Similar stats are in Europe, the US, and other parts of the world. Together, I hope we can make a difference. And one of the reasons why we're having to do this now is because, of course, systems like AI have the potential to change our lives. And if only a small group of people are developing this and they're very homogeneous, they're white men based in Silicon Valley, then what happens is these biases and discrimination and inequalities are perpetuated in the systems that we're building and developing. The last thing we want is people in communities and parts of the world that are not represented in tech to further be discriminated against and have inequalities perpetuated. We still have really drastic numbers. We have only less than 20% of AI professors and teachers who are women. We have less than 6% of global roles in AI which are filled by women, less than 2% of the workforce that is Black in AI. And of course, when it comes to other ethnicities or disabilities or neurodiversity, and we don't even have the precise data to share, we definitely know that the field of AI is not as representative as we would like this to be. This is then reflected in the actual technologies that we're building. This is ultimately the reason why we're here today, because collectively, if we do this work together, and if young people in all parts of the world have access to AI literacy and understand how this might impact them, but also have that voice and be able to tell those who are responsible for those technologies that that voice needs to be heard, hopefully there will be a better world that we can all collectively create. So I hope you all resonate with this mission, everyone who is on the call or listening flying, that we're in this together, and it's up to us, the social movements, the organizations who really care about diversity and inclusion, that it really matters how we act and what action we take to really see real results. So on this note, I'm being joined by my colleague Natsika and Favor as well. So I have two colleagues here with me on the call. And Natsika has some further information to share with you. I will be in the background and wait for any questions to respond to them and hold your hand over the next few weeks before the campaign kicks off, so that we can all do this together and inspire lots of boys and girls into AI for impact. Natsika, it's over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours.
Perfect. Is my screen sharing? Okay.
Yes, I can see.
Fantastic. Awesome. So thank you for the lovely introduction, Elena. Yes, so hello to everyone on the call, as well as those who are watching our recording of the information session. I'm just going to be recapping some key information with regards to the campaign. You may have seen some of this information in the information pack. However, if you did not receive an information pack, this is for you. So as Elena has explained, the core of what Teens in AI does. Now, the reason we have our IWD Global Techathon is for similar reasonings. And our mission is obviously through project-based learning, and we like to link whatever we do to the UN sustainability goals. For the purposes of our IWD Global Techathon, we will be focusing on 3 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, 3, good health and well-being, 4, quality education, and 5, in the spirit of IWD, gender equality. The theme for IWD 2025 is to accelerate action. It's going to be really exciting to see the kind of solutions and projects the students come up with. Our outreach campaign for our local ambassadors has just started, and we've had an amazing response from over 26 countries that have registered to join our IWD. Some countries we're having for the first time, so it's really exciting. Thank you all for registering to join this impactful and life-changing campaign. By the time we start the campaign, you'll actually see more. So on this slide, you'll notice that there's only a few dates. Apologies for that. However, they are on the next slide. This is the campaign journey with the events linked to our IWD campaign. As a local ambassador, your journey would officially start when we have our welcome session, which will be once you have signed on officially as a local ambassador after you have received your agreement. Thereafter, we'll have Ask Me Anything sessions, which we previously referred to as briefing sessions, which will be on Discord, which I will share later on the call. And then we'll have the actual events of the campaign, which will take place. And you'll see some further information on these events on the slide deck. We have Inspiration Week, Boot Camp Week, and of course, the local Techathons in March. And then we'll have the virtual panel, our virtual judging, and Global Demo Day. So let's go to the next slide and chat briefly about what those events are. We kick our IWD off with Inspiration Week, and this falls on the week of International Day of Women and Girls in Science on the 11th of February. Inspiration Week will be taking place from the 10th to the 14th, Valentine's Day. And it's an amazing week where we have career experts and inspirational talks, some that tie into our SDGs, some that tie into future careers in tech. It's absolutely amazing, not just for the students, but also for you as the educators to join. Thereafter, we have Boot Camp Week, which is where our students will dive into educational and hands-on masterclasses, which will equip them with some of the knowledge they'll be applying during the Techathons. Our Boot Camp Week takes place from the 17th to the 21st. So it's the following week after Inspiration Week. We will have our Global Techathons take place from the 6th to the 25th of March. As an organizer, you can then decide whether you'll be hosting your Techathon in your school over 2 days to 5 days. As educators, we understand how busy your schedules can be, so you're not limited to hosting your Techathon over 2 days. You can expand it to 5 days to make it easier for yourselves. Thereafter, we've had our amazing Techathons. You will then have the virtual panel. This is a panel where we'll have our Accelerate Action theme being spoken about by industry leaders, and you'll also be on the call with fellow local ambassadors, mentors, and some panelists from our corporate partners. It's a really motivating event, which we hope you will join. And then we have an internal event, so you'll be aware of this going on in the background, which is the virtual judging. What happens after a Techathon is you would submit your first place project to us, and then all the first place projects from around the world will be shared with our virtual judges, who will decide on the top 10, who will go through to our final event of the IWD campaign, which is the Global Demo Day, which will be taking place on International Day of Girls in ICT on the 24th of April. So there's quite a few observance days that we touch on during this campaign. On the next few slides, we dive deeper into what Inspiration Week is and what Boot Camp Week is. So I won't read these slides, but you will get a copy of this deck so that you can have a better understanding. And once confirmed, we'll also be sharing the agenda of our Inspiration Week speakers with you. We've added some examples from last year, such as Helen Baker from SAGE, the Global Director of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. We also had the Creative Director of Paramount Pictures in Africa doing a career talk. We had the Head of Robotics from the National Robotorium, Ingo Keller, do a talk during Inspiration Week. You can see the caliber of amazing speakers that we invite during that week. The same applies to Boot Camp Week, only the best for our students. We had Itchraf, the computer vision research engineer at Pixar. We also had a speaker who's actually part of our alumni, Luca, who's now an application developer and designer at Monster Energy. And then one of our favorite, Jennifer Glinsky, she's also assisted on some of our courses on our platform. She is the Director of Product Development at BMC Software. I'm really looking forward to the workshops that we'll be having during Boot Camp Week, as well as the amazing and inspiring speakers we'll have during Inspiration Week. Okay, so now that we've kind of given you an information overload of what IWD is, you're probably wondering what's in it for you. As an educator, you'll get the opportunity to sharpen your organizational leadership and management skills. You'll get to inspire and mentor your students into the world of tech and AI. It's also a great opportunity to network with your fellow local ambassadors, mentors, and other educators joining us during the campaign. You'll also get a certificate for your organizational efforts, boosting your professional reputation by championing diversity in education and tech. You'll get access to great resources in AI, data science, and event management that we'll share with you along the way. And of course, we will be supporting you throughout this journey. What does it take to make a global Techathon happen? There are some core commitments that you as a teacher organizer would have to undertake, such as joining our communication platform, Discord, which we'll touch on a bit later, and checking your emails regularly. You'll be receiving emails from myself at Teens in AI, as well as my co-project manager, Favor, who is also on the call. We do understand everyone gets busy, so it is important to check just a couple times a week your emails as well as Discord, and also just to save us as safe contacts so that our emails don't land in spam. And because this can be there's so many elements that can go into organizing an event, we also suggest that you collaborate with a co-teacher or an older student to help you plan and run your Techathon. In having a co-teacher, we also recommend that you have around 3 to 4 volunteers who will assist you throughout your planning journey, but also on the day of or days of the Techathons as well. From a student perspective, of course, if you could find 30 to 50 kids in your schools to commit to joining your Techathon, that would be great. If there's more students, that's absolutely fine. We've had schools that have had over 174 students taking place in one Techathon. You're not limited, but just think of the fact that you have to also host your own demo day after the culmination. And the more students you have, the longer your demo day will take. In terms of venue, you can find a suitable room in your school, whether it's a library or an open conference room, or perhaps a local library, and you can host with other schools as well to host your Techathon. And then 2 other personas that you would have to recruit, which are judges and mentors. So you would need to find at least 3 to 4 judges. These can be head teachers, principals, company connections connected to the school. It can be from your parent alumni as well. And then sourcing mentors. So there's usually 4 types of mentors that we have during our Techathons. We'll have our AI ethicists, tech mentors, design thinkers, and subject matter experts. So depending on how many kids that you have at the Techathon, you can decide to have one mentor who's an all-rounder for each team, or you can have the 4 per team. It's important to balance the number of your students and your mentors. You don't want to have too little mentors, and you don't want to have too many mentors. I think Lulu can speak on that as well, having too many and too little. Okay. All right. And of course, flexibility and time commitments. As we mentioned earlier, we understand how stretched you can be as an educator. There's the teaching, there's the marking, there's the assessments. So we absolutely understand that. And that's why we haven't set predetermined dates similar to our previous campaigns. We also made an exception for countries observing Ramadan because the campaign and IWD tend to take place during that period. And that's why we encourage you to not host over 2 days or 2.5 days, but whatever would work for your school and your students. So this could look like hosting over 3 days. This can look like hosting over 5 days. We wouldn't recommend anything over 5 days simply because we have a 18-hour agenda already set. So you would just be splitting those hours over your 3 to 5 days. Over 2 weeks seems kind of impossible or it's too much. That's from our side. Just go to the next slide. As you know, participation fees for private schools do exist. State schools all participate for free. However, private schools, there is a small fee that is attached, and we're absolutely grateful for the participation of private schools during our Techathon because their contributions play a vital role in actually making this program happen. These fees enable us to cover costs of the platforms that we use, the instructors, and the spaces that some of our state and government-run schools need. These fees look different for different parts of the world, and they're all based in British pounds. Africa and South America is £10, Asia is 15, Australia, Canada, Europe, UK, and US are 35. So these are the same prices as last year. For those kids that are in private schools but still cannot attain a fee, we have scholarship opportunities. So we have a learning grant, and this learning grant form will also be shared with you, the organizer, to share with the students that need. How this could work is that the school can either pay for the students to participate, or the fee can be transferred to the parents, and the parents can pay for their kids to participate in the Techathons, whichever way works for you. All right. So, as we mentioned, this is a campaign journey. At this point, we're at step 2, right? You filled out the registration form, you've attended the information session. What's next? So step 3 is submitting your signed local ambassador agreement, as well as submitting your co-teacher or co-organizer details if you have not submitted them in the registration form yet. And you can do this via email to either myself or to Favor. You will receive the local ambassador agreement in an email, the email which will contain the recording of this session. So once you have received that, have a read through it and send us your co-organizer details. The deadline for that is the 30th of November. Thereafter, you'll get access to the ambassador resources after we've received your agreements and your co-teachers' details on the 2nd of December. How do we as Teens in AI support you? We also have online resources such as the playbook. This playbook will consist of all essential information, forms, documents that you would need, as well as timelines, support grant forms that you would need for organizing your Techathon. We also have pre-recorded videos in German, French, Spanish, and English on the Teens Learning course. And of course, we also have the speakers from our bootcamp week as well. Another thing we can do, because we're constantly expanding our reach, is share scripts from some of our workshops with our local ambassadors so that you can also translate it into your native language. And you can have someone record it in your native language, or you can do it yourself because the content is the same and we're providing the script as well as the deliverables to you. We also help you with sourcing your mentors and judges. There comes a time when you may struggle to find a few, so we provide some tips and suggestions via recorded material as well. We also have check-ins. On the playbook you will receive, we will have some recorded videos of what the deliverables of the next 2 weeks are, and we will have a dedicated channel on Discord where you can ask questions. And of course, you're always welcome to pop us an email as well. And of course, when it comes to social media, marketing and branding, we'll provide social media kits and branding guidelines to support your marketing efforts during the campaign. This is the look at last year's agenda. this is the 2-day agenda. And this is what would be then broken up in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, depending on your accommodations. As you can see, it's basically a 9-hour day. You'll figure out what would work best for you. In addition to creating an agenda for you, we also have a master deck, the facilitator guide that we share with you. So the master deck is what you would be sharing your screen. So you would just be clicking through the master deck, through the different speakers, to the different tasks. Everything will be there for you. The facilitator guide is just for you to note how to do certain timings of things, what icebreakers to do on the first day, some tips as well. So when we say we support you, we really support you. Just to touch on some of the event platforms we'll be using, because you might not be familiar with some of the platforms we use. So first and foremost, we have Discord, which I mentioned in earlier conversation. And I'm just going to show you a glimpse of what Discord looks like. So this is our Discord server for last year. So you will be put in your country's Discord. And then you will also have a channel where you can chat with all the other local ambassadors as well who are joining the campaign. So very exciting stuff. And then we also have the local organizer playbook, which is just an online guide on how to run your Techathon. And of course, the teens learning course. So the playbook as well as the teens learning course are on the same platform. They're just different links. I think sometime in February, before the Techathons kick off, we will host a session and run you through what the teens course looks like, how they can enroll as well, so that you can assist your students. Just also want to give you a look at what the playbook looks like. This is also last year's playbook. So we show you how to use it. We have an overview, when you're hosting in person or hosting virtually, what to do. We have the challenges, frequently asked questions, the agenda, how to find your mentors, info packs, because while you're doing your own recruitment, you'll need an information pack similar to the one you may have received for your mentors, judges, and students, so they can know what is IWD Global Techathon. We also have email templates for you, so everything is on the local ambassador playbook. I believe we are at our Q&A. And then there are also other resources that are provided on this deck. So you're welcome just to go through it, take a look at what a Techathon looks like, and you'll also have the opportunity to see what our winning teams presented last year. Thank you so much for joining, and we will catch up with you soon. Bye.